Alright guys, so here we have the Polar Pro Cinema Series Shutter Collection ND filters for the DJI Mavic Pro drone. Okay, so there is another collection here. It's called the Vivid Collection. These are the Shutter Collection. The Vivid Collection are polarized neutral density filters. These are not. The regular ND filters that I have here are going to be the ones that you're going to use most commonly. The polarized ones are going to be used when there's a lot of glare. Maybe you're at the beach, you're at the lake, and the sun is reflecting. That would be a good time to actually have polarized filters. But these are the ones that you're going to want to use most commonly. Okay? So in this set here, you have three filters, ND8, ND16, ND32. And that's going to cover really all the conditions that you're going to need to use ND filters. So for ND8s, that's something when you'd want to use it for the early morning hours or at dusk time, where it's very minimally light. And then also the ND32s, which is on the other extreme where it's super bright. You're out in the desert maybe, you're out in the snow. So it really covers the whole range. Let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, so here's the lenses in the case. Inside here in the box, a couple little goodies here, a little sticker, a cloth, and then inside here there are instructions. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the lenses themselves. Okay, and I'm going to actually measure the case. So for people who want to know how to fit it in a case that you might have, it's 6 inches wide and about just a hair over 2 inches wide, and then thickness wise it's about ½ an inch. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up here. Take one out. Okay, give you a close-up shot. Now what's important to note is that Polar Pro did come out with an earlier series. They call it the Professional series. And those actually required that you have to do the gimbal calibration before you actually put these lenses on, which was a pain. And I don't think they did very well with selling those because no one would have to take it off, put it back on every time you change the battery. Okay, so these you could keep on at all times and not have to bother with that. So let's go ahead and measure one of these. Okay, 1.2 grams. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring that up a little bit closer. 1.2 grams. Now, I did also buy and did an initial review of the Taco RC filters, which I have right here. And so look at the top of the screen there and you'll see a link to that initial review. These are actually lighter. They weighed 0.7 grams, and again, you could keep them on during power up of the Mavic during the gimbal calibration. So these are also another good option. Okay. I am going to do a review and comparison of both brands, the Taco RC and the Polar Pro filters. So keep a lookout for that coming up soon. This review is only an initial review. I'm not going to do any aerial footage. I'm not going to show you any photos or anything else as far as how to use these ND filters. Just again, an initial review. All right, so what you're going to see after this is a couple of clips on how I install and remove the filters and also run through a gimbal calibration. Thanks. Okay, so you can see here that I do have the gimbal clamp on there to provide extra support when I install and remove the filters. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this on here. And I already know that these really have to be seated way down onto the lens. Unlike the Taco RC filters, which don't need to go onto the lens as much as this one is, and I found it to be really difficult to remove them as well. So that's something that I'm not really fond of, because I really have to muscle this off, and it's still taking me some time here to take it off. So I'm still struggling. There we go. So that's not something that I really like doing here, because, with a small gimbal like this, having to take that off with as much force as you just saw me having to do to get these off, not really fond of that. Okay? Alright, so the next clip will be the gimbal going through its calibration with the lens on. Alright guys, so in conclusion, the Polar Pro filters are definitely a name brand of filters, and so I'm sure this is something that you'd want to consider as far as this brand. The Taco RC filters, I have been using them, and they seem to work fine. They're way easier to put on and way easier to take off. That's a big negative in my mind with these Polar Pro filters, because the gimbal just seems so sensitive and easy to break. So having to use that much force to remove the filters off the camera, kind of a big negative for me. But I'll have to see once I do the comparison and review of both the Polar Pro and the Taco RC filters. And one last thing here is Polar Pro has a cool little app. So there's going to be a link in the description here, so you could actually download that and play with that. But obviously you're going to need to have the ND filters to use. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like it. Got a lot more videos coming up, so please subscribe if you like. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.